Here's Victoria and Anthony with an AMI This Week shortcut.
In a few recent segments, Halifax's Laura Bain has been schooling us on some wine basics.
In this next segment, Laura talks with sommelier Heather Rankin, the co-owner of Obladee Wine Bar, to discuss some food and wine pairings.
Oh, I know my favorite wine pairing. It's beef jerky and red wine.
Interesting. Well, pay attention because this will tell you how to take wine and food pairings to a more sophisticated level.
I'm back here in front of the bar at Obladee with Heather, and we're going to further our wine tasting, but this time we've got some food with us, and that's because we're going to be talking about pairing food with wine. So Heather, what have you got here for me?
Well, we're revisiting some of the wines that we tasted already, and we're just putting them with some classic pairings. So the first pairing that we have is a soft, bloomy rind cheese.
So sounds yummy.
Yeah, that's kind of in the Brie family, and putting that with a sparkling wine, the sparkling wine that we had the other day.
And that's not something people think of a lot when they're getting food, is going with a sparkling wine.
Oh, sparkling wines are wonderful food wines. The bubbles act as natural kind of pellet scrubbers, and the natural acidity is a great sort of cleanser for any kind of fat and oil that you might be eating in your dish or snack.
All right, so what should I do? Just take a bite of my cheese
I always do what you normally do. People think when they take food and wine, they have to sort of put the both in their mouth at the same time. I would take a sip of wine, take a bite of the cheese, and see how those come together or not in your mouth.
Okay. It's a really nice cheese.
Yeah, it's a nice flavor.
And what's the next thing that you have for us?
So this is the low intervention skin contact white that we had tried from Portugal.
Okay.
So if you remember in this white, we had a bit more structure, even a bit of tannin in the white. And what that suggests is that the white is ready to take on stronger flavors stronger than we might initially think to put against a white. Something like a salmon. Salmon is an oily fish. It's still a fish, but it has a lot more fat, whereas traditionally we might put a lighter bodied red with salmon because of its intensity and its fat content. We could easily go with a fuller bodied, more structured white like this one.
Okay, I was going to ask because I think the thought always is fish pairs with white wine, so that's obviously not always the case.
It certainly isn't. Again, always thinking about intensity of the flavors and intensity of the wine.
And I absolutely love salmon.
Great.
That does pair really nicely together. The salty and the fattiness of the salmon. It's a nice contrast with that acidity and the sort of brightness of the wine. And the third wine that you have here for us is a red wine. So is this one that I've tasted before too?
Yes, so this is the Chilean Syrah we had the other day. And if you remember, that wine was pretty charged on fruit and lovely spice notes, a lot of things that are already very complementary to chocolate.
Oh.
Things that you would normally put with chocolate in a cake setting or a dessert or even on a side plate with chocolate. If you're getting those complementary types of flavors and aromas in the wine, it's generally speaking probably going to work out as a good pairing for your chocolate. But it seems the key thing that you can't really get around is you need some element of sweetness in your wine. It's just, the wine, if it's too dry, if it has too many of those drying tannins, it's not going to work that great with the chocolate unless your chocolate is super dark and super tannic and drying as well.
Can you go with milk chocolate if someone likes milk chocolate?
Absolutely. Milk chocolate I think is nicer with almost like a sweeter white.
Okay.
So for today we have a little chocolate goat's milk fudge, which is a favorite of our customers, even for people who don't like fudge. They seem to really love this guy.
I better get into this before it melts all over my hand.
Absolutely.
So that nice, bold, peppery Syrah. Oh man, that is good. Yeah, that really does seem to complement the little bit of pungency from the goat's milk and that chocolate. So 3 delicious pairings. We had our bloomy soft cheese with our sparkling, and our smoked salmon with our sort of bolder flavored white, and our dark chocolate with our bolder red. Is there anything else that people should keep in mind when pairing food with wine?
Yeah, you generally want to keep the alcohol low. Acidity levels should be fairly prominent, fairly high. It should have nice acidic lift to the wine. There should be a good fruit component. It doesn't have to be all fruit, but the fruit is helpful if it's there. Those are the big ones.
All right, fantastic. Well, Heather, this has been an absolute treat, getting to know a little bit more about wine. This is our last session here today.
Sure.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure.
Do you know what? Cheers seems absolutely appropriate at the end of these sessions.
Yeah, let's do it.
We both got our reds. Cheers.
Cheers, Laura.
Generally, I prefer a craft beer over a glass of wine, but after hearing that story, I wouldn't mind trying some of those pairings.
It's really amazing how it seems to be both an art and a science.